first fight was so close and so good. We didn't think it was possible that it could be as close again.
At some point, we're not 16, yeah, we are almost 40 years old, and I'm not shaking hands with my opponent. It's kind of weird, but if he's like this, no problem. I was learning something, I respect you, and I shake his hand, yeah. And he said, yes, it's sport, congratulations. And then after interview, he came again, but we didn't shake hands. He said, we will have third fight.
Actually, I don't want second fight too. I mean, it's not my choice, but no problem. We're gonna do third fight if we need.
Unbelievable fight. Much better than the first one. And they gave their all. And we're gonna get probably a trilogy out of it.
He deserved it, and we want to see the third.
We'll see the third fight now.
Yeah.
Do you think Dimitri Bivol had done enough tonight?
Yeah, if Artur accepts, we will have the third.
Artur Beterbiev is now calling for a trilogy fight with Dimitri Bivol, as he didn't shake Bivol's hand after the fight and called him out for a third fight. However, Frank Warren called the Dimitri Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev rematch a privilege to watch and said it was a fight fans would never forget. He praised both fighters as two of the best of their generation, maybe even the best of the 21st century. He said the second fight was much better than the first, with both fighters giving everything they had. Warren also hinted that a trilogy fight between the two could happen in the future.
Except we will have the third.
Talk to me about that co-main event. Joseph Parker with a second round knockout over Martin
Bakole coming, arrived to the kingdom.
Incredible, right?
Yeah. We will have big fight with Bakole in May, inshallah.
I spoke to Joseph Parker. He said he'd love to fight Alexander Usyk. Is that at all realistic?
Terence Crawford talked about Dimitri Bivol's performance in the ring, saying he did well and won the fight. He thought Bivol fought impressively and mentioned that the difference in the fight was Bivol being in better shape. Crawford added that Bivol left everything in the ring and wanted the win more.
I saw you dap up Dimitri in the ring. What'd you think of the fight?
Oh man, he did good, man. He won the fight.
Overall, the way he fought, what do you think made the difference tonight in your opinion?
He was in better shape.
Yeah?
He left it all in the ring.
Teofimo Lopez said he was rooting for Beterbiev, but felt the right man won. He thought the fight could have been a draw, but Bivol won by 1 or 2 rounds. Lopez believed the difference came from Bivol landing more punches, even while fighting on the back foot. He also noticed Beterbiev focused more on the body than the head, which Lopez thought was a good strategy that should have been used more. He finished by saying a trilogy fight would be great and something to look forward to.
Hi, bro.
And the new, I mean, listen, I was going for Beterbiev, but I think the right man won tonight. Could have been a draw, but I think that Bivol edged it by 1 or 2 rounds, for sure.
What do you think made the difference?
The accumulating of punches. I think that even though he was fighting on his back foot, he was throwing more combinations, and I think landing a little bit more, a bit better. I think what I would take from Beterbiev, I think what I noticed a bit different was that he was going for the body more than the head. I think he should have kept going that route. I think it would have slowed Bivol down. But hey, I think that we should look forward to a trilogy now.
You think a third fight?
I think that'd be awesome. You know, the Trinity trilogy.
However, Dimitri Bivol explained that after the fight, he approached Artur Beterbiev to show his respect. He told Beterbiev that when he joined the national team, he looked up to him and learned from him. They shook hands, and Beterbiev congratulated him. However, after the post-fight interview, Bivol noticed that Beterbiev didn't shake his hand again, but said they would have a third fight, leaving Bivol wondering why not.
I came to Artur, I told him, Artur, I respect you so much, you should know it. When I came to national team, I was looking after you, I was learning something, I respect you. And I shake his hand, yeah. And he said, yes, it's sport, congratulations. And then after interview, he came again, but we didn't shake hands. He said, we will have third fight.
Did you have a third fight?
Oh, why not?
Moreover, Michael Buffer shared his thoughts on the Bivol versus Beterbiev rematch, saying it looks like there might be a third fight, and he hopes so, because it was an amazing bout. He mentioned that most people he spoke to thought the fight was wider than the judges' scorecards, which had it as a draw. He described the fight as a classic mix of offense, defense, footwork, and counterpunching, calling it a great fight.
It looks like we might go to number 3. I hope so. You know, it's amazing. Most people I talked to had it wider than the judges, especially the judges had it a draw. But classic offense, defense, leg work, counter-punching. It was a great fight.
Michael Buffer disagreed with the scorecards, calling the fight incredible regardless of the scores. He described it as a true battle, comparing it to a matador and bull situation that fans love to see. Buffer hinted at the possibility of a trilogy, saying that we'll see it again.
That was incredible.
Yeah, really. I mean, regardless of the scores, it was a real fight. It was a matador and a bull type of thing that you love to see. And let's see it again.
Frank Smith reflected on Dimitri Bivol's journey, calling it unbelievable. He mentioned how much it meant to Bivol, not just because of the fight itself, but also because of the kind of person he is. Smith felt Bivol deserved to win the first time, and that he clearly won this fight, though he acknowledged the uncertainty in boxing. He pointed out that apart from one poor scorecard, the judges got it right. Smith expressed excitement about Bivol's victory and the journey they've been on together, looking forward to what's next.
Frank, unbelievable. What? You know, like, because he's such a nice geezer as well, not just the journey, like, you know, when you think back to the journey we've been on, the nights we've been involved in with him, and I knew how much that meant to him, and what a nice guy he was, and he deserved to win it the first time. And you never quite know, like, I feel like he won that quite clearly, but you never know. And that's the problem with boxing, isn't it? But tonight, you know, apart from John Robert Lane, which was a horrendous scorecard, they got it right. And what a night for Dimitri Bivol, and what a journey we've been on, and I can't wait for what's to come.
Anthony Yarde shared his thoughts on the main event decision, saying he personally thought Beterbiev won by a small margin, or that it could have been a draw. He believed that as the challenger, Bivol needed to do more to take the belt from Beterbiev, who he saw as the champion. While he couldn't argue with the decision, Yarde felt Beterbiev's pressure made a difference in the fight.
Right? Did you agree with the decision in the main event?
I did.
Yep.
Not.
What?
No, I didn't. So
You didn't agree?
I thought personally, Beterbiev won. Yeah. Small margin, or it was a draw. But again, you can't argue with the decision being given.
Just his pressure in that, you thought that Beterbiev deserved it? The pressure?
I just personally believe Beterbiev the champion.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as that he took Beterbiev's belts away from him. It was a close fight. So sometimes when you're the challenger, I feel like you need to take someone's belts away from you.
Yarde also discussed the difference between the first and second fight, noting that the second fight was more entertaining and tactical. He suggested that Bivol deserves a shot at a rematch, emphasizing that he definitely deserves a trilogy. Yarde expressed excitement over the possibility of a third fight, calling it amazing if it happens.
First fight and the second fight.
It was more of a shootout.
Yeah, it was.
It was more entertaining. It was more punches from.
And what do you think now happens? Do you think David Benavidez deserves obviously a shot against Bivol now?
How? That's not saying That's not saying forget Beterbiev.
So you think
Beterbiev wants a rematch? It deserves a rematch.
100%. So definitely a trilogy. It'd be amazing.
However, Dimitri Bivol explained why Artur Beterbiev didn't shake his hand, saying it wasn't out of arrogance, but just a normal reaction, given that they are both older fighters. After the fight, Bivol approached Beterbiev, expressed his respect, and shook his hand. Beterbiev then responded that he would only shake his hand after a third fight and congratulated him.
No, it wasn't something arrogant. It wasn't something like it was normal, you know. Of course, at some point we're not 16, yeah, we are almost 40 years old, and I'm not shaking hands with my opponent. It's kind of weird, but if he's like this, no problem. I came to him after the fight, directly in the ring, and I told him I respect him and everything, and I shake his hand. And after this, I think he spoke with Turki Alalshikh, and then he came to us and he said, I will shake your hand only after the third fight.
Bivol further talked about the potential third fight, saying he wants to take some time to rest first, as he's unsure how long his recovery will take. He mentioned that after resting, they could discuss the trilogy. When asked if he would be even better in the third fight, Bivol confidently said he could be better, feeling that there's more he can improve on. He admitted he wasn't completely happy with his performance in the ring and acknowledged there were mistakes, but he believes he can do better next time.
I wanna rest, yeah, because I don't know when I will recover, yeah. And then we could talk.
Do you think you will be even better in the trilogy?
Of course I could be better. I feel that inside I have something, I could be better. I wasn't happy for 100% of what I did in the ring, to be honest. Of course there were some mistakes, and I could be better, yeah.
What more do you want out of the game? You beat Canelo Alvarez.
Moreover, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh said that Dimitri Bivol deserved to win the rematch and that fans want to see a third fight. He also added that if Artur Beterbiev agrees, the third fight will happen.
He deserved it, and we want to see the third.
We'll see the third fight now.
Yeah.
Do you think Dimitri Bivol had done enough tonight?
Yeah, if Artur accepts, we will have the third.
Eddie Hearn shared his thoughts on the fight, mentioning that many people felt Dimitri Bivol won the first fight, though it was very close. He expressed disbelief when he heard the 1-1-4 to 1-1-4 scorecard, feeling it was impossible to score the fight a draw. Hearn praised Bivol's performance, highlighting how he won the first 2 rounds and then Beterbiev won the next 3.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt like he won the first fight, if I'm honest. But it was a very close fight. And listen, when I heard the 114, I was like, please, don't do that to us again, because you couldn't see how you scored that fight a draw. Good banter. Yeah, it was one of the best performances I've ever witnessed. Like, I thought he won the first 2 rounds, and then after that, Bivol won. I think, Beterbiev won the next 3. I think, but it was the way he won them, and it was the speed that he was coming out, and it was the way he was cutting off the ring, and he was doing all the things that he did in 10, 11, 12 last time. But at that stage, last time, you're thinking, oh, we've only got to just hold on here, and the fight's over. Now I'm thinking, it's the third.
Hearn emphasized Bivol's speed, his ability to cut off the ring, and the clever body shots he used, noting that young fighters should study how Bivol made Beterbiev follow him around the ring. Hearn also referred to Bivol as one of the nicest guys in boxing and said that his performance against Beterbiev was a sign of his greatness. He described Bivol as a pound-for-pound king and close to becoming an undisputed champion. Hearn expressed excitement for Bivol, imagining how happy he would be to go home after such a major achievement, as winning all the belts was his dream.
And what he did was just incredible. Like, young fighters have just got to look at the way, like, he just made Beterbiev follow him around, the angles that he gave, the stabs to the body, the clever stuff. And, like, to do that to a guy like Beterbiev, who's an absolute beast and one of the greatest fighters of our generation, that's the kind of performance that cements you as a pound-for-pound king, or close to, undisputed champion. And Dimitri's such a nice bloke, honestly. Like, all he wanted was to become undisputed. That was his dream, win all the belts. Imagine how happy he's going to be going home tonight, you know?
However, Artur Beterbiev chose not to discuss the decision and instead congratulated Dimitri Bivol after the fight.
I don't want to talk about decision, this stuff. Congrats, Bivol team.
Artur Beterbiev said that he felt this fight was better than the first one, but added that it's now his time to come back.
I don't know, I think this fight better than first fight, but we'll see. It's now my time to come back.
Beterbiev lastly said he didn't want a second fight, as it wasn't his choice, but added that there's no problem and they're going to have a third fight.
Actually, I don't want second fight too. I mean, it's not my choice, but no problem. We're gonna do third fight if we need.
Moreover, Mark Ramsey, Beterbiev's coach, expressed that the result was disappointing, especially after more than 12 weeks of hard work in the gym. He acknowledged that the outcome wasn't what they wanted, but reminded everyone that no one was seriously hurt. He emphasized that they would continue moving forward, returning to the gym the next morning to keep working.
Well, it's a lot of deception. This is a big work under the scene with that, like more than 12 weeks hard work in the gym. Like, the conclusion of the fight is not what we want, but at the end of the day, nobody's dead, and we just go back in the gym tomorrow morning and keep working.
Mark Ramsey further explained that they knew the fight was very close. As a trainer in the corner, he said that if a round is close, he has to give it to the other team. He recalled telling Artur Beterbiev that they needed to win the last 2 rounds to make sure they sealed the victory. Ramsey acknowledged that the fight was close and that they were aware of that during the match.
We already know in the fight that was a very, very close fight. You know, as a trainer in the corner, I cannot, like, if a round is very close, I have to give to the other team. I know the fight was very close. I remember asking Artur, we need to win those 2 last rounds to make sure that we close the show, but that's it. Like, we know that was close.
Mark Ramsey discussed the possibility of a trilogy, saying that while it's easy for him to give an answer, the decision ultimately depends on Artur Beterbiev. He explained that he would need to sit down with Beterbiev to see if he is still motivated and wants to pursue a third fight. If Beterbiev is willing, Ramsey said he would be fully supportive.
Do you want the trilogy? I know he suggested that he wants a trilogy.
We'll see. Like, we're gonna sit. It's easy for me to say yes or no, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one who taking the punches and give the punches. I have to sit down with Arthur and see exactly what if he's still motivated, if he want to do it. If he want to do it, I will be on his side.
Anthony Joshua admitted that he was caught up in a deep conversation during the fight, focused on future planning, and wasn't fully locked into the action. As a result, he couldn't give an exact account of the scorecards or how the fight looked from his perspective. However, he acknowledged that the scoring couldn't be changed now.
I'll be real, I was caught up in an in-depth conversation, future planning and so on. So I can't tell you exactly what the scorecards were, what it looked like at the fight, because I wasn't fully locked in. But the score's the score, innit? You can't reverse time. What did you make of it? You tell me.
It was close, but yeah, I'm not going to argue with anything. It was very close.
Was it?
Yeah,
like the first one?
Anthony Joshua was asked if he would want to see a trilogy, and while he wasn't sure if it was necessary, he said he would definitely watch it. He explained that both fighters are elite in their own ways, with very different styles, strengths, and weaknesses. Joshua pointed out how well their contrasting styles mesh, with Bivol showing slick boxing and high IQ, while Beterbiev brings rugged toughness and strength. Despite their differences, Joshua noted that they complement each other well in the ring.
I don't know if we need to, but I would definitely watch it. Would you watch it? I would definitely watch it. Do you know what? They're both very elite fighters, because what makes them so unique is that they're so different in terms of their game plans, their strengths, their weaknesses. They're so different, but they gel so well. You know what I mean? Because you're expecting one thing from Arthur. Bivol's like slick and showing us what boxing IQ looks like. Then you got a rugged, tough, strong man in Arthur Beterbiev, and they just gel really well.
In another interview, Eddie Hearn talked about the potential trilogy, saying that whatever His Excellency decides, he would be on board, whether it's a Beterbiev vs. Bivol trilogy or a Canelo-Alvarez rematch. He praised the first fight as a 10 out of 10 and the second as even better, with the third fight potentially being the best. Hearn also expressed great respect for Artur Beterbiev, admiring his skill and power. He emphasized that the fight showcased two pound-for-pound greats, something he had never seen before.
Yeah, whatever His Excellency wants. Benavidez, Canelo rematch, the trilogy. I mean, the first fight was a 10 out of 10. Yeah. That was a 12 out of 10, and the next one will be even better. Yeah. You know, I've got to give respect to Artur Beterbiev, because I was watching him in that period of 3, 4, 5, just thinking, to be honest with you, this bloke is just an absolute machine. He's such a good fighter, and it's not just he's heavy-handed, he's so good. And what you saw tonight wasn't just two brilliant light heavyweights, it was two pound-for-pound greats. And you know, I've never seen anything like it.
Derek Chisora praised Dimitri Bivol's performance in the rematch against Artur Beterbiev, saying Bivol worked hard and was on top of his game. He acknowledged that Bivol gave up some middle rounds but came strong in the final rounds, particularly in the championship rounds, to secure the victory. Chisora noted that Bivol's boxing was excellent overall.
It's hard. He was on fire. He was on the game. Listen, what can I say? He boxed very great, man. You know, like the middle rounds, he gave them up, and then the last 3, 4 rounds he took, the championship rounds.
When asked about a potential third fight, Chisora expressed a strong desire to see a trilogy between the two fighters. He mentioned that while the first fight was close, Bivol won the second fight by a couple of rounds and deserved the decision. Chisora confirmed that he would like to see the third fight, emphasizing his interest in seeing it happen.
Bivol seemed to get the point decision quite well by a couple of rounds, but do you want to see a trilogy between the two fighters?
I want to see the third fight. Yeah, I want to see the third fight. That's what I want to see now.
Spencer Fearon shared his perspective on the fight, acknowledging that from where he was sitting, he understood why Dimitri Bivol was given the decision. However, he made it clear that this didn't take away from Artur Beterbiev's skill, stating that both fighters are fantastic. Fearon concluded by saying that it's now one win for each fighter, and he's looking forward to seeing the third fight.
From where I was sitting, I could see why Bivol gave it. Why Bivol got given the decision. But does that mean that Arthur is not a fantastic fighter? No, it doesn't. It means that they're both fantastic fighters, and it's one apiece, and let's see the third fight.
Taylor Ramsdell spoke about the continuous improvement in every camp, saying that despite being asked this question often, they always adapt and get better. He emphasized that not much had changed in their approach, but over the last 8 years, they've worked together to improve and grow with each camp. He mentioned that coming off a loss might have given them a little extra motivation, but he didn't want to suggest they weren't motivated before.
He looked strong for the full 12 rounds, moved about, you know, he was counter-punching. Will, talk to me, man, what changed this camp for Dimitri compared to the last one?
You know, I've said this before, you know, that's a question that's been asked a lot. And every camp we adapt, we improve upon, and we just continue to move forward. So I don't want to say that much more changed as far as like the S&C goes, except for what has changed, the last 8 years we've worked together. Every camp we improve, we get better, we add, we grow. And then, so it's just one of those things that, like I said, we just continue growing.
Ramsdale clarified that the loss didn't sit well with them, and they didn't like it. He stressed that they put in the work, and as a result, they won. He highlighted that their focus is always on growth, regardless of past outcomes.
And it coming off a loss, of course you have maybe that little bit extra, but saying that makes it sound like we didn't have that before. So I also don't like saying that. It was just, we lost and we didn't like it, it didn't feel good to lose, so we won. We did the work and we won.
Vadim Fumes, Bivol's manager, expressed frustration over Jean-Robert Lane's 114-114 scorecard. He questioned when this kind of scoring would stop and called for oversight from sanctioning bodies to review how Lane arrived at that decision. Vadim emphasized that, based on the CompuBox statistics, there was a clear difference in punches landed between Bivol and Beterbiev, and he demanded an explanation for the scorecard.
Jean-Robert Lane card. First of all, it's Jean-Robert Lane put 114-114. I mean, when is this gonna stop? Like, I'm not afraid to say it anymore. When is this gonna stop? Why isn't there any sanctioning body supervision that can look into how Jean-Robert Lane saw this card 114-114? I'm not gonna talk about the other judges right now. I'm not gonna talk about the previous fight. But Jean-Robert Lane should be reviewed, and he should look at the fight again and show how he saw. I looked at the CompuBox numbers. 31% Dmitry Bivol landed punches, 17% Beterbiev. Jean-Robert Lane, what are you watching? What's going on? I mean, how does he explain this? I don't want to say the word right now, but how does he explain this?
So, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the trilogy? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.